Hey guys, welcome to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, we'll be cutting and sewing this dress that you can see on your screen. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. The first thing I'll do is to take my point. Distance from my shoulder to my bust point is 10 inches. Distance from my shoulder to my under bust point is 13 inches. While the distance from my shoulder to my waist in front is 16 inches. So I'll go ahead and roll straight line along all these lines, and then I'll label the lines. Next thing I'll do is to take half of my shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches. I'll indicate the 8 inches with a dot. On that dot, I'll go down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. For the neck width, I'll take 3 inches. So after doing that, I'll slant from that 3 inches to meet the 8 inches neck width like this. Next thing I'll do is to go down by my armhole depth, which is 8 inches. I'll indicate that and I'll rule a straight line across that point. So this line is going to be my chest line. After doing that, I'm going to place my bust circumference divided by 4. I'll indicate that with a dot, as you can see me doing. After doing that, I'm going to connect from the shoulder slope to the chest line in a straight line. So place me your bust circumference divided by 4 on the chest line. The next thing I'll do is to mark the middle point of the armhole depth. What I have is 4 inches. I'll indicate the 4 inches. On that 4 inches point, I'll come in by half an inch. After doing that, I'm going to connect from the shoulder slope to the half an inch, and I'll use my curved ruler to connect from that point to the dot that I have on the chest line like this. The next thing I'll do now is to take half of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches. I'll mark the 4 inches on all the lines. After doing that, I'm going to connect the dots into a straight line. The next thing I'll do now is to take half an inch on the center front, and on the side front you can do 1 inch. After doing that, I'm going to go down on the bust line by 1 inch, and then I'll connect the dots like this. Next thing I'll do now is to place my measurements. On the bust line, we already have the bust circumference divided by 4. Now on the waistline, I'll place my waist circumference divided by 4. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect, as you can see me doing. Okay, so after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the side, and I'm going to open my pattern paper up like this, so we have a full scale bodice. So you figure out which side you want the slanted neckline to be. Okay, pick one side and extend all your lines. Okay, so all the lines and everything that I have on the other line is what I'm transferring to this line. Okay, so after doing that, this is what I have. So to get the slanted shoulder, I'm going to go, remember I came in by 3 inches for the neck width, so I'm making the 3 inches visible. So on this center, it depends on how deep you want the neckline to be. You can go down by 3, 4, 5, 6 inches. It depends on you. But I want mine to be a high neckline. So on this other point, I came down by like 4 inches. So I'll use my ruler to connect, as you can see from this part. Then I'll connect into the 4 inches mark like this. So after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and cut. So make sure this part you measure it before cutting. Okay, I want mine to be high. As you can see on the thumbnail, the neckline is high. That is how I want this one to be. So for the strap also, you're going to figure out how you want it to be. So first of all, I'm going to extend what I already have here. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut. So this strap, you can extend it and make it longer. Okay, so for the wideness of this strap, I'm going to be using about 4 inches, almost 4 inches. Okay, so I'm going to mark like this, and then I'm going to cut out the armhole area out. After cutting, guys, I'm going to use this scoop to cut on my fabric and add necessary allowance. So this is just one piece. I didn't fold it anywhere. What I did was to add allowance on the armhole area, on the neckline area, on the shoulder. So on the side and the base, I didn't add any allowance. front. I'm going to take out my pattern paper. This is what it looks like. So the next thing I'll do now is to transfer my dart. Okay, measure the length of the dart and then transfer it back to your fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. So guys, after cutting out the front, to cut the back, you're going to fold your pattern paper like this into two. Make sure that the base, the sides is matching. Okay, then to eliminate zipper bulge, I'm going to come in by half an inch on the waist area. I'll indicate the half an inch with a dot. After doing that, I'm going to use my ruler to connect from that point all the way upward. Okay, after doing that, guys, the next thing I'm going to do now is to open it up. Okay, so just slit it open and cut out the zipper bulge area. So what you do now is to place your pattern paper on your fabric and cut. So this time I turned the pattern paper to the other side, so that is why the part that I wrote lines on the pattern paper is facing the fabric. Okay, so when you are cutting, make sure you are cutting on the right part so that the front and the back will meet up, since they have different neckline and shoulder area. I hope you understand. So for the zipper area, I added 1.5 inches. For the neckline area, I added half an inch. The armhole area, I also added half an inch. So this is what I have for the back. Okay, so what I'll do now is to remove my pattern paper. Okay, then you're going to take the dart. Okay, transfer the dart that you have at the back, transfer it to the front fabric. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do now. So after transferring the dart, I'm going to now pipe the neckline. Okay, so you can cut out lining piece. If you have a lining piece, you can pipe the necklines and the armhole area. Okay, you can use your bias or use your main fabric to do that. Okay, so this is the two piece for the back. Just go ahead and sew where you're supposed to sew, and then take in your darts for both front and back. So for the skirt part, my fabric is folded into four, so I will cutting both front and back. The front is folded while the back I have two pieces, and I left my zipper allowance of 1.5 inches at the back. So what I'll do is place my tape on the waist and I'll go down by 8 inches, which is the distance from my waist to my hip. After doing that, I'll roll a straight line across. So the start of the fabric is my waist, while this line is my hip. Next, now I'll do is to take my waist circumference divided by 4. On the hip line, I'll take my hip circumference divided by 4. I'll add my stitching allowance. On the waist area, I'll also add my stitching allowance. So we'll not be needing that for the skirt area. What I'll do now is to connect, as you can see me doing. So we are going to extend from the hip line. For me, I have 3.5 inches. You can do more than that depending on how you want the design at the front to be. So I came in by my stitching allowance on the side. I'll use the curved part of my ruler to connect from that stitching allowance, as you can see me doing, in a U form like this to give it that shape. Okay, so just connect it like that. You can do up to 4 or 5 inches depending on how you want it. So after connecting, now I'm going to go ahead and cut. So now we have both the front and the back. Notch your zipper allowance and then open everything up. Okay, so this is what I have. So now after piping the neckline and the armhole area for both front and back, you're going to place them together, right sides facing right side, as you can see. Okay, then pin, go ahead and sew. Repeat the same thing for the back piece. After doing that, you're going to sew your zipper to the back, and then you're going to sew both front and back piece together. So I'm going to head over to my sewing machine to join all the pieces together and also fixing my zipper to the back. Okay, so after doing that, you are going to shape the side using your allowance that you left. Okay, so just shape the side and sew everything in place. So for the other side of the sleeve that does not have a shoulder, you're going to extend what you have here. As you can see on the thumbnail, the rope is really long, so cut it out as long as you want it to be, and then you're going to hem it all the way around. Then you attach it to what you already have on this side. Okay, make sure you hem it, and on that armhole area, make sure you also fold it in place. So I've sewn everything in place. Okay, I fixed the zipper to the back, I joined both front and back piece together, I extended this rope area, and then I hemmed everything all the way around. So this is what it looks like after doing that. So the next thing we'll do is to attach the gathers to the base of this dress. So first thing you do is to open up the zipper area a little, and then you're going to measure from one end to the other end of the base. Okay, whatever you have, you're going to times it by 2, by 3, or by 4, depending on the amount of fabric you have for the gathered area. Okay, so you times it by 2, 3, 4, and depending on how full you want it to be. Then this is the fabric I'll be using for the gathers. It's about 4 yards. So what I'll do is to go ahead and gather it. Now, to know the length of your dress, you're going to measure what you already have on the upper bodice. Okay, you're going to replace what is left. Okay, so the full length of my dress is about 53 inches. What I have here is 23 inches. So what is left for me to complete the 53 inches is 30 inches. Okay, so the gathered area is supposed to be about 30 inches, but I'll be hemming the base and I'll be joining the gathers to the dress. So instead of taking 30 inches, I'll make it 32 inches. Okay, so for my folding allowance and my joining allowance. So what I'll do is to head over to my sewing machine to gather all the way around. I've done that, and this is what I have, as you can see. So make sure what you gather is going to fit into the measurement that you already measured all the way around. So now I'm going to sew this on the base from one end to the other. So if you can't just pin everything in place, head over to your sewing machine and sew. After sewing, you're going to close the back. So I've sewn everything in place. This is what I have. This is what it looks like. Okay, so next thing you do now is to hem the base of your dress, and then you give everything a good press. And yeah, that is all for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. Don't forget to like this video, leave your questions in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.